Hi, I am Starla Hilliard-Barnes. I am Miss Wheelchair Montana 2014, and I live in one of the most beautiful places in the world. So I grew up as a very active child. I did every kind of sport that you could think of. Also did cheerleading and gymnastics on top of it. But the biggest thing that I loved was being outdoors and being able to ride my motorcycle. On June 23rd, 2009, I was actually paralyzed in a hit-and-run motorcycle accident. The accident, it was a white Chevy Silverado that ran a red light. They unfortunately never caught him. I was thrown 20 feet from my bike. I had a helmet on, my jacket, and actually when the paramedics came to get me, I was moving my legs. And they didn't cut off my gear, they tore off my gear, took off my helmet, and afterwards my legs stopped moving. I spent 3 months in Seattle, Washington, and I had so many broken bones. I have a metal plate in my eye because I broke my eye orbital. Everything from T2 to T8 in my back, all my ribs, my scapula, my clavicle, punctured both lungs, and had really bad road rash down both legs. But I'm actually paralyzed at the T4 level. I woke up in Harborview and I didn't know I was paralyzed at the time because I was in a drug-induced coma for 2 weeks. And I asked my mom, I said, "Hey Mom, I want to go for a walk." And she looked at me with these most dreadful look on her face. I just remember like tears rolling down her face, and her voice was trembling, and she said, "Honey, you can't walk, you're paralyzed." So I looked up at her and I said, "Mom, I still got 2 arms and I can still hug you." And from that moment on, I knew I was going to be a fighter, that I was going to fight for every moment that I had to still have a normal life. So I came back here to Kalispell. About a year later, I met my wonderful husband, and on December 2011, we were married, and we had our beautiful daughter that very next year. She is the most amazing little girl in the world. I don't want people to think that just because you're paralyzed, you have to stop living life, that you should be able to go out and still be able to do anything that you did before. We just have to do it differently. Being a voice and a face for the differently abled, and since being in the wheelchair, it's given me a different view on life where a lot of different barriers need to be broken down. And that kind of brought me to my idea of my platform, which is that we should never stop rocking just because we roll. And what that means is, no matter if we're in a wheelchair or have been through a tragic event, we should never see ourselves with limitations. I just want to thank everyone and let them know how truly blessed I am to be Miss Wheelchair Montana.